If you're going to fertilize it away from the tree. A lot of times the gardeners will come in here and they'll shoot all that fertilizer right at the tree. And then they can't understand why the trees get long and lanky and out of control. That's why. So we turn it back to the tree and we spread it out further out. Okay. The lawn's not the best place to put a tree because it's what? Too wet. You're trying to water that beautiful green lawn, putting all that beautiful green nitrogen in there, which is a 16 or a 16-16, which is really high, takes these things and just they go berserk. Okay? Their roots are going to go out 10, 15, 20 feet out. Okay? And so they're going to absorb all that nitrogen and it's going to make the tree look ugly. Or you'll get your gardener to come out and he'll come in there and trim it for you and ruin it. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, what we do. Okay? The seasons. Springtime can actually be one of the most incredible seasons there is of any of the seasons. Fall, yeah, we can get it here. It's not the best year because we go to that late Indian summer. The Japanese maples want to start shutting down around September, October. We don't do that here. We go all the way till typically November. We're going into December before our fall color really peaks out. But if you can imagine in the spring, this one here is called Benikawa. This is one of the reddest Japanese maples there is in the industry when it comes to wood color. You've heard of Sango Kato, we call that the home center tree. This tree is 100 times better quality. It'll always stay red in the wood, but it has this beautiful chartreuse green color with a lovely green summer color and then a beautiful yellow fall. So this one has a really nice cover.
What was the name?
And this one's called Benikawa. We're one of the only few people that grow it in the industry. It's a Benikawa. And it's okay, don't worry about it. You can come see us and we'll go through all that. You'll see them all there. Another one that I love for beautiful, just gorgeous pinkish color, is one called Shiraz. It's a newer one that's been in the industry, not easy to find. I like it. It's a really beautiful kind of like a pink color as you can see in here. The light isn't doing it justice what it really looks like, but it's a really, really beautiful color. Another one that I love for color here, and this one is just dynamite, is this one right in here. This is the fall color up in here, and this one's the actual spring color. This one's called Ryuzen or Ryzen. This thing is one of the most beautiful Japanese maples there is in the industry. It's the first one as a palmatum. Palmatum, which we're going to discuss leaves in it, palmatum's always grown upright. This one actually grew in a cascading form. So that's a really, really beautiful chartreuse green. So I love that one. Another one which I love is this one right here. Look at the green bark. This one's called Ukon. And so you almost have like a pea green wood, but look at that chartreuse green in here. Absolutely gorgeous. So we don't want to just collect for fall, we want to collect for the spring colors. Another one that has beautiful color, and this one is the reddest of the reddest spring colors in the industry, and this one is called Shindajojo. This one, believe it or not, comes out the reddest, fire engine red you've ever seen in the spring. Okay? All of a sudden, about 3 or 4 weeks down the road, is you kind of don't pay attention to it, all of a sudden it switches color on you. And goes to this lovely green, almost like this, all summer, and then reverts back to a fire engine red in the fall. This one is the best there is for the spring red. Its alter ego is a tree called Osaka Zuki, which is my favorite tree out of all the 375 that I own. It's called Osaka Zuki. So it's got a lovely green, but in the fall is the most red you have ever seen. So this one's the reddest spring, and Osaka Zuki is the reddest fall. And another one which we love for the spring is this beauty right here. This one's called Bonfire. B-O-N-F-I-R-E. Bonfire. And look at this color here. Beautiful, almost like little shrimp pink colors. Unfortunately, the light is not the best in here, but this one means bonfire for a reason. In the fall, it looks like you've got a bunch of firewood that's on fire. It's got beautiful reds and yellows and all that. So this is a really, really pretty one. Then another great one for the springtime color, and this one is the newest one in the industry that came from Japan. It's my big one that's sitting right over here. This one right in here. There has never been a yellow bark maple. This one is called Bihu. The only one in the Western United States is selling this thing right now. And this thing is spectacular. Bihu, B-I-H-O-U. And this thing in the spring is the most incredible chartreuse green up against this lovely yellow. And during the wintertime, it gets almost like Meyer lemon yellow, that's what it's known for. And then in the spring, I guess it's just chartreuse green with a Meyer lemon yellow. So really lovely, lovely plant. Fall is clear yellow, but a bright, bright clear yellow, which we'll talk about in the fall section. Another lovely one for the green time, which you won't find anywhere, this one's called Sharp's Pygmy. Notice that really beautiful chartreuse green, another lovely, lovely color, which I like. And we'll talk about his fall when we get to the fall section. But this one's a dwarf, it only grows about 3 feet tall. Another one in here, which I just love, look at this guys, for spring. This is only the colors going to give you the spring and the fall, and the summertime will be green. This one is called Katsura. Isn't that a spectacular color? You missed most of its colors, usually a bright orange. And it has some yellow, and it has some green. Then it goes green all summer, and then it goes back to this exact color for the fall. So this is a really, really lovely one. Okay, I guess I was going to change my battery here for a sec. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'll talk a little louder. You guys should be able to hear me now. I've got a pretty good voice. Okay. The other one, which I love, is another spectacular one. This one is called Koto no Ito. Koto no Ito. Okay, most people think this is bamboo. Believe it or not, it's not bamboo. Okay, this is actually a Japanese maple. And for a lot of my clients who have a love bamboo but can't stand where it goes, which is basically everywhere in the yard, this is my replacement for bamboo. Okay, nobody can tell the difference except it's Japanese maple. So Koto no Ito's got this gorgeous, beautiful, delicate, white, green color, which I love. Okay, now we're going to hook the battery back.
How tall was that one?
That one's only going to do about 8 feet tall, which is nice. Now the other one we talked about, which was the yellow one, which is called Bihu, she also only grows about 8 feet tall also. Okay, so it's very small, not very big. The other one we talked about here too was Shendijojo, also grows about 8 feet tall. So we're not talking about very big, tall trees. Okay, they're kind of nice and they can stay in a small garden or they don't overtake it. Another one I like for the springtime is one called, this one should be my Anabe Shidare, which is another, this isn't a lacy leaf. Okay, these are really, really beautiful ones. They look fairly delicate, but they can take some pretty good sun, which is really nice. Another one which I love in this category is called Orangiola. This is a real beautiful one in here. This is the one that most people, when they come to my nursery, just go nuts for. It's a beautiful dissected leaf, and it's a real soft looking, but boy, it can take heat and does very, very well. And then another one which people love for the springtime, and this one is called Red Dragon. And I'm going to show you the fall color, which we'll get into, is this bright red. It's just spectacular. Look at this spring. It's a beautiful, almost like a maroon color. Very, very nice. That one's going to be about 4 or 5 feet tall. I've seen them bigger. When we grafted it, the reason why we haven't grafted that high is sometimes when I want to get into a landscape that's going to open them out, I want this thing to kind of come down a little bit. If it sits too low to the ground, especially kind of cascading, the thing will go right on the ground. You need to lift them up a bit higher so that when they cascade over, there's actually some room in there so it's not so flat to the ground. Because if the graft gun is this low, your tree's going to spread out this low, you can't get it to raise. You've got to bring them up. Crimson Queen and Red Dragon was the question he asked. Crimson Queen is not one of the best for the sun. It can't take heat very well. It's actually an average. I call it the home center tree. It's okay. Color-wise, mixed like a brickyard color, and then like bricky, okay. Where Red Dragon, when you see the Red Dragon and the sun hits that thing in the afternoon, that thing looks like it's on fire. So it has a really, really beautiful color. Very different leaf. So I like the Red Dragon much better. That's what I sell the most of on our internet site. Okay, so now we're going to go from the spring seasons, we're going to go into what we call the, we'll get into more of the summertime colors. Okay, so one of the colors that I like, which we don't have here now because it's one not summer, is I like to use a tree called Moonfire. Okay, I have it actually in our booth. It's a beautiful maroon color leaf. It takes the sun very well because once again I like to grow trees that can handle lots of heat. So we use one that's called Moonfire. Another one which I like for summertime color is called Fire Glow. what you'll see at our booth is